Imagine a world where truth is blurred, where reality itself seems distorted. What would you do if someone claimed to be divine, performing miracles that defy logic? Would your faith remain unshaken? In Islam, this scenario isn't just hypothetical, it's prophesied. Today, we explore the figure of Dajjal, the false messiah, whose emergence will mark humanity's greatest trial. But don't worry, by understanding him, we can prepare ourselves spiritually and emotionally. Let's get started. Dajjal, often referred to as the deceiver, is no ordinary human. He is described in Islamic teachings as a being created by Allah, not to guide but to mislead. Think of him as the ultimate test of faith, designed to challenge every believer's conviction. His name literally means deception, and his mission is clear: to sow confusion, spread falsehoods, and lead people away from the path of righteousness. Unlike true prophets sent by Allah to bring light into the world, Dajjal operates under the guise of salvation. He will falsely claim to be the awaited Messiah, mimicking divine acts to deceive even the wisest among us. Why does Allah allow this? Because trials reveal the strength of our faith, and Dajjal's arrival will separate the sincere believers from those who waver. Now, let's paint a picture so vivid that you'll recognize him instantly when he appears. Dajjal is described as having a youthful yet plump face, reddish skin, and thick, curly hair. His broad forehead and wide upper body give him a commanding presence, but his most striking feature is his single eye. Yes, you heard that right. His right eye is damaged, resembling a floating grape, while his left eye is partially obscured by a thick piece of flesh at its edge. But here's the kicker: between his eyes, the word KAFIR, unbeliever, will be inscribed in Arabic letters. This miraculous sign will be visible only to Muslims with sincere faith, regardless of whether they can read Arabic or not. Imagine seeing this inscription and knowing immediately who stands before you. It's like having a spiritual radar, guiding you away from deception. Additionally, Dajjal is sterile, unable to father children, a symbolic reminder of his unnatural existence. His physical deformities serve as outward reflections of his inner corruption. Where will Dajjal come from? According to authentic narrations, he will emerge from the east, specifically from Khorasan, which corresponds to modern-day Afghanistan and parts of Central Asia. More precisely, his origins trace back to Isfahan, Iran, home to a Jewish community. From there, he will start a global tour, visiting every city except Mecca and Medina, the two holiest cities in Islam, protected by angels. Why exclude these cities? Because they are sanctuaries for believers during this chaotic time. Similarly, Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, and the Mosque of Sinai will remain off-limits to him due to angelic guardianship. Yet, despite these restrictions, Dajjal will traverse the earth rapidly, spreading confusion and chaos wherever he goes. Can you imagine the panic as he moves from city to city, leaving destruction in his wake? Authentic hadiths mention that thousands of Jews wearing distinctive crowns will join Dajjal, becoming his staunch supporters. Their alliance underscores the gravity of his mission and the scale of his influence. What makes Dajjal so dangerous? It's not just his appearance, it's his extraordinary powers granted by Allah as a test for humanity. For instance, he can control natural elements like rain and vegetation. Picture this: drought-stricken lands suddenly flourishing with crops, but only for those who pledge allegiance to him. Meanwhile, those who reject him face starvation and despair. How far would desperation drive you? Even more alarming are his false miracles. He will cure the blind, heal the sick, and even bring lifeless objects back to life, or so it will seem. These tricks are nothing more than illusions meant to deceive. One of his most cunning tactics involves presenting what appears to be paradise and hellfire. Those who choose what looks like paradise will actually enter hell, while those who opt for what seems like hell will find themselves in heaven. Talk about a reversal of reality. And then there's his speed. Dajjal will move across the earth with unparalleled mobility, covering vast distances within moments. Imagine trying to escape someone who can appear anywhere at any time. No wonder the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned us to stay vigilant. Who will follow Dajjal? Unfortunately, many. His followers will include people easily swayed by worldly desires and lacking strong faith. A significant portion will come from the Jewish community of Isfahan, identifiable by their unique attire. Many others will include women and men with weak hearts, drawn to his promises of wealth and comfort. Women, in particular, are warned to exercise caution, as many will fall prey to his allure. Male family members are advised to take measures to protect their loved ones. Dajjal's persuasive tactics rely heavily on material incentives and false miracles, appealing to those prioritizing temporal success over spiritual fulfillment. Sound familiar? We live in a world obsessed with instant gratification, don't we? Despite his formidable power, Dajjal's reign of terror will end when Jesus, peace be upon him, returns to earth. According to authentic hadiths, Jesus will descend near a white minaret in Damascus, dressed in radiant garments dipped in light. He will lead the faithful believers in a final confrontation with Dajjal outside the gates of Lod, near Jerusalem. Upon seeing Jesus, Dajjal will attempt to flee, melting away like salt dissolving in water. Jesus will then strike him down with a spear, ending his era of deception once and for all. Just imagine the relief and joy that will sweep across the earth in that moment. Justice restored, truth victorious. What happens next? Following Dajjal's defeat, Jesus, peace be upon him, will usher in a golden age of peace and prosperity. Under his leadership, humanity will unite in worshiping Allah, eliminating false beliefs and practices. Resources will multiply, poverty will vanish, and oppression will cease entirely. It's almost too beautiful to imagine, isn't it? Eventually, after fulfilling his mission, Jesus will pass away, leaving behind a legacy of righteousness and preparing humanity for the final signs of the Day of Judgment. Until then, we must remain steadfast, holding on to our faith and preparing for the challenges ahead. So, how do we protect ourselves from Dajjal's deception? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave us a simple yet powerful tool: reciting specific verses from the Quran. Memorizing and regularly reciting the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, or the last 10, depending on different narrations, provides spiritual armor against his influence. These verses remind us of Allah's power and mercy, strengthening our resolve during times of hardship. Additionally, reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas daily offers divine protection. Another powerful practice is reading Surah Al-Kahf every Friday, which ensures a protective light shining upon the believer until the next Friday. By cultivating a deep connection with Allah through prayer, remembrance, and good deeds, we can fortify our hearts against Dajjal's allure. Understanding Dajjal's role in Islamic eschatology is crucial for every believer. His emergence represents both a severe trial and an opportunity for spiritual growth. By arming ourselves with knowledge and faith, we can navigate this challenging time and remain steadfast on the path of righteousness. Remember, Dajjal may have extraordinary powers, but Allah is all-powerful. Trust in him, and he will guide you through the storm.